Oh dear God. Okay. It is 4:50. Is it 4:54 in the morning? Yes, it is 4:54 in the morning. I can't sleep. My dog can't sleep because it's springtime now, and it might be me getting allergies. Yeah, I know. It might be me getting allergies, but also I am taking a swim class, so that might be it. But I can't sleep. Dog can't sleep. So I think right now is a perfect time for me to talk about something. It's past the time. Hey, come here. Sit somewhere. Yeah. So I've been getting a lot of ads lately about a new thing. Well, not a new thing, but it's relevant again. So it's the perfect time for me to talk about it because I didn't get a chance to talk about it the first time it came out. The Assassin's Creed movie's coming out on Blu-ray and DVD. I didn't get to talk about it when it first came out, but I watched that in theaters. It was a steaming pile of shit, and I didn't get a chance to talk about all the reasons why I hate it. Because like right after I watched the movie, I wanted to. Oh God, now he's gonna cry. You were quiet the entire night, and then the moment I start talking, you cry. I need you to not do that. I need you to sit down and sleep. Maybe if I turn the lights off or something, maybe he'll be like, okay with it. There it is. You okay now? Okay, so I guess we're gonna have to do the video in the dark, because my dog's eyes hurt or something. I don't know. Anyway, I didn't get a chance to talk about the Assassin's Creed movie because I don't know. I just didn't get a chance to do so. So I want to talk about it now. Now that it's kind of relevant again. All the things that I hated about it. So first things first. I was really hoping that that they would try to do the same thing they did with the first Assassin's Creed game, which is keep all the future stuff secret up until the last possible second. But no, some of the early, fine, release set footage or whatnot. I mean, at this point we all know, right? But I'm assuming that with a movie you're gonna want to reach a bigger audience with it, so you could redo that whole reveal of the Animus and Abstergo and whatnot. So what I really wanted was a straightforward story about the past, and I didn't want any future shit up until the last possible second. It could be like 99% of the past, and then at the very end the camera pulls back and it turns out it's in the future, and then they start explaining the Animus and whatnot. And then you find out that you weren't watching a historic piece, you were watching a sci-fi movie, and suddenly the whole Piece of Eden thing makes sense and whatnot. Same thing with Assassin's Creed 1, where you had that similar revelation where at the very end Altair gets a Piece of Eden, and then he gets a map of the entire world, and then, bleeding effect, he sees all the blood on the wall. Desmond sees all the blood on the wall. But no, they front load the whole future stuff with, they try to make, okay, the main character isn't Desmond, the main character is Callum, whatever, fuck, I don't care. And they try to make him as this kind of important person, and this horrible tragedy he has with the assassin, and I guess his mom was a Templar. I don't get it. It was never explained well. But basically, his dad had to die for it, and for whatever reason, that makes the assassins the good guys. Because at some point he meets him again, and now his dad's this crazy, demented, I don't know. But that's like minute 1. Actually, it's not even minute 1. You really want to know my first complaint about the movie? Okay, the ancestor part, the ancestor bit takes place in the 15th century in Spain, and they're doing the assassin initiation for, I don't know, what's his name, Aguilar, and they induct him to be an official member of the Assassin Brotherhood, and they go through, initiation and whatnot. problem is this initiation ritual is outdated. Highly outdated. I don't know if it's within the lore, but I assume that by the 15th century they had done away with a bunch of the shit that they did in this movie, which and also I don't know, like there's a lot of inconsistency with it. So first of all, in Assassin's Creed 1, part of the ritual of becoming an assassin, or I guess a master assassin, or you know, just being inducted, having a hidden blade, is you cut off your left ring finger to I think it serves a double purpose. I'm a little hazy on it. I haven't played Assassin's Creed 1 or read up a lot of Assassin's Creed 1 in a while, but I always remembered it as you cut off the left ring finger as a sign of devotion to the creed, but also because the left ring finger gets in the way of the hidden blade, because I think the way hidden blades were made back then, it was a lot closer to the wrist, and you had to make a fist to properly use it, or something along those lines. But basically, the finger would get in the way if you were to have the blades at the same time. So they cut off the left ring finger. They give you the one hidden blade on the left ring finger. Aguilar in the movie gets his right ring finger cut off. So first of all, it's the wrong hand, and second of all, at this point in the 15th century, it's like 1400 something. At this point, you know what else is happening? Assassin's Creed 2. It's like Ezio's time, right? And I don't know if it was, you know, because Leonardo da Vinci was just so brilliant, but it is part of the game that you give him the plans to make the hidden blade, and he makes it, and you don't need to have your finger cut off. I don't remember the dialogue. Again, I haven't played these games in a long while, but from what I recall, he just followed those instructions, you know, word for word, and and made the hidden blade accordingly, so that you don't have to have your finger cut off anymore. This happens at the same time. So like while Assassin's Creed the Renaissance is happening, this is happening apparently over in Spain in the 15th century, where they're still cutting their fingers off. I don't know, maybe it's just a disconnect with, you know, the Assassin's Brotherhood. I mean, communication would be slow, I would imagine, in the 15th century. I just think that's like a weird, outdated thing. Like, if you were gonna have that ritual, why not have the ancestors set in, like, you know, just have a crusader again? Why not? You know, give people the familiarity of Altair and whatnot. And again, I think it's the second reason why I think the whole cutting the fingers off is weird, is because they cut off his right ring finger, and I made sure to pay attention. They didn't cut off his left ring finger. They only cut off his right one, and then they gave him two hidden blades. So I thought that the two hidden blades was like a new thing that you know like you had to reach Master Assassin rank for it, but whatever. I guess they just hand it out now. And also, again, just to go back on it, no one else has their ring finger cut off in Assassin's Creed 2. Like, Machiavelli has all his fingers. He's an assassin. So does Ezio's sister. They do a thing in Assassin's Creed 2. They show it in Brotherhood, where the new ritual is they burn the assassin logo onto your left finger. Again, it's on the left hand. Show like devotion, because you know, like that's where you would put a ring if you were to get married. So just, you know, for like, first of all, it's meaningless cutting off the right ring finger. It just doesn't have the same meaning. And second of all, it's kind of an outdated ritual to have that around. My next problem is Assassin's Creed has established that the whole white robes thing is kind of part of your ranking as well. There's like bits of tradition in it. I don't want to, here. Before I spout bullshit, before I have some Assassin's Creed movie apologists go up to me and tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. God, I hate springtime right now. Sorry, I hate it. Let me just look up. And I do actually have screen. Let's look up Assassin's Creed Aguilar. Let me just take a look at his costume for a quick second, because I'm pretty sure. Okay, no, I was wrong. See, that's why I had to look it up. But I am right about the one thing, though. Maybe it's just a way to like disguise yourself. But I always thought that the whole thing with assassins was, you only wore black robes if you were the master, or the mentor or whatever. If you had reached a certain rank, that's when you were able to wear the black robes. That's why in Revelations, Ezio's robes are the dark blue color, or like it's supposed to be like this. In the game, it's kind of like this grayish, like blue to black color. It's supposed to be black, and he's supposed to have the red sash, and also the size of your belt and the intricacies of your belt apparently determines your rank. Like if you have like this simple sash, then you're not of a high rank. But if you have like the big leather, what is that called? It looks like that thing that people wear when they exercise. But basically, Altair has the same big belt that Aguilar has. But I don't know. Maybe it's to help them blend in. So I'm willing to discount that as, more of a stylistic choice, less of a traditional thing. So I'm willing to let that go. But my next complaint is now the whole Animus bit. Why did the Animus need to be a giant arm? Why couldn't it have just been a chair? It didn't need to be a giant CGI arm. It looked expensive, first of all, to make, and unnecessary, because it added nothing to the visuals, and it made very little sense in terms of how the Animus works. Because what is it? Who fucking said it? Kristen Bell, on the game that hadn't even come out yet, kind of described it as like the Matrix bit. Like she described it as like it's kind of like the Matrix in a way, and it's like, huh? And you could have just done that again. The Matrix is still cool. I mean, the first one, people still really like the first one, and the whole concept of it is still, people still know about it, and it still makes sense. It makes a whole lot more sense than having someone strapped to the Animus as an arm. I do like the incorporation of synchronization in it, but it was just weird because when Assassin's Creed 1 first started out, Desmond had problems with synchronization because he wasn't used to the Animus, and that caused, what am I trying to say here? Basically, it was just like a weird. It was a weird disconnect. It's the past story and the present day story seemed disjointed. It didn't feel like, and this is why like you could cut out all the present day stuff, and you would still have a cohesive. You could still have a cohesive past story. Like Aguilar in its entirety, all the bits of Aguilar in it could be its own story. You could cut out all the present day stuff and it would still be coherent, because nothing that happened in the past nothing that happened in the future can affect the stuff that happened in the past. Like, never at one point did Callum, I don't know, influence his control in the Animus. It just seemed like as soon as he stepped into the Animus, it was now, okay, now we're watching Aguilar do it. It might as well have not even happened. It might as well have been he sat in the chair and the camera switches and then Aguilar wakes up from sleep. And then now we're just supposed to assume it's Callum. And every now and then you just switch back, and then or you hear the voiceover of Marion Cotillard speaking to you like, "This is the Animus." So she sounds like, I guess. But you didn't need it. You didn't need the giant expensive Animus arm, and I hate it every time I think about it. I've had dreams about it, and I just wake up because I laugh so hard in my sleep. It's so stupid. I don't like it. Like it didn't. It just needed to be the okay. Because now I'm assuming okay. Because in Assassin's Creed 2, when Desmond is running out of an Abstergo, he finds out that they have a bunch of animus or animi, in these little glass boxes. So is the assumption that in just this one building, there's just one room with like 1,000,000 of these animus arms, all like holding like some sort of assassin, as they're training? It doesn't make sense, right? It doesn't fit with what they were trying to do, or like it doesn't make sense, like just physically. The whole Matrix bit makes a bit more sense because it's just the influence there is apparent, and also it's easier to do. You didn't need it. You could have just made the Animus table, and it does get referenced, like the Animus 2.0, which by the way is inaccurate. Again, it's like these people don't know. It's like I heard like Ubisoft apparently helped write this movie or something like that, but they had a hand in it, or at the very least they didn't just give it to someone. I hope not, but like it just seemed like the person that made this movie only had a vague understanding of what Assassin's Creed was, and just stuffed any reference that he could into it, or or whatever. It seemed like M. Night Shyamalan's The Last Airbender, like someone who had a vague understanding of the source material and tried to make a movie out of it, but not really knew what they were doing. Like, remember that whole bit in Avatar: The Last Airbender at the very beginning where they're trying to recreate the intro except with live action, and they replaced I'm pretty sure they were Chinese characters in the back. When Katara goes, air, fire, wind, earth, or whatever. Did I say like wind and air? No, earth, water, earth, fire, earth, water, fire, and air. Yeah, the 4 elements, right? When Katara does that in the intro and they're introducing all the elements. Apparently, there's I guess Chinese characters in the background. Apparently, in the movie, it's replaced by like random swoosh, like it's so hard to describe. But okay, I'm not gonna look it up right now. But if you're watching this video, look it up. There's like the intro where they're explaining the elements, and apparently it's supposed to say in Chinese characters or something in the back, like earth or air or fire or water, but in the movie it's replaced by like random like decorations, like this squiggle looks nice, like this vague representation of what the element is supposed to be, I guess, but it looked cheap. It looked cheap, and it looked like someone who didn't know what they were doing. But this is just me trying to explain the fact that the Animus 2.0 chair is in the background in Abstergo, even though the Animus 2.0 was never, ever in the possession of Abstergo. It is red, and it is held by the assassins, because it's compact. It's like supposed to be like an office chair. But basically, the Animus 2.0 does exist, but they opted for the Animus chair. So when is this movie supposed to take place? Because I think it said 2015, or 2016 or something, but I don't know. I don't know anymore. Also, there's that whole bit where they let him have a hidden blade, and then he gives it to his dad, and these idiots thought that was a good idea to just leave it there. I just don't get it. I'm tired, and I'm gonna stop complaining about this movie. But maybe one day I'll make a better video about this. I'm gonna go. Bye.